Groovy, here again with another movie franchise ranking video. And in this particular video, I'm going to be doing my first official ranking of the Evil Dead franchise, including our newest release, Evil Dead Rises, which I just saw 2 nights ago in the theater on opening night. All 5 movies, not including the TV show, as I haven't seen any of the seasons of the Ash versus the Evil Dead TV show, although it's probably something I'm going to watch relatively soon, but at the moment I've seen none of it and don't know really anything at all about that. So all 5 movies from my least favorite to my favorite. But before I do that, a few things. I'm a very casual, and I mean casual, Evil Dead fan. Now, I probably saw the first 2 movies when I was a kid, although I don't remember any time seeing them, but I'm almost positive I probably did. And then I do remember putting on Army of Darkness at one point in time, but didn't remember anything about it. About 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I bought all the Blu-rays for the Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and Evil Dead 2013. I watched the original, the Evil Dead, and I watched that and didn't watch anymore. And then about a month ago, I finally started over again. I watched The Evil Dead, then I watched Evil Dead 2, then I watched Army of Darkness, and I should mention about 4 or 5 months ago, I did watch the 2013 Evil Dead movie. So I had seen that. Too many people talk too many good things about it, so I did end up watching that. And then, of course, I watched that again, as well as Evil Dead Rise a few nights ago. So I'm going to rank all the movies. We're probably going to disagree. I have a very different opinion on this series since I'm a very casual fan of the series. I'm not going to go into a lot of details about each movie because I don't really remember everything about them because while they're fresh in my head, I've only seen them 1 or 2 times. They're not something that sticks with me. So keep that in mind and know that we're going to disagree. Please leave your ranking down in the comments section. I want to know where everybody is. If I'm way off, and I might be with my number 5, but just to see where we all are. And of course, while I'm not going to talk a lot about each movie, so this will be a shorter video, there probably will be some sort of spoilers regarding at least some events of the Evil Dead movie, so just keep that in mind. So enjoy the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and leave your ranking down in the comments section. Where's my fucking boomstick at? Something to consider is the fact that my opinion could change at any point in time upon a rewatch of all these movies, especially Evil Dead Rise, since I've only had the opportunity to see that movie 1 time, and I don't plan on seeing it again until I can purchase it. Maybe I'll go to the theater and see it again, but I probably won't watch it again until I actually buy the movie. So that's one that could either go up or down depending on when I rewatch that. So just keep that in mind while I try to find my goddamn fucking boomstick. Now I gotta rank these 5 movies, not including, of course, the TV show series. Like I said, I haven't seen any of that yet. I do plan on seeing it, but get ready to cancel me because for me, and remember I'm an extremely casual fan of this series, at least at the moment, number 5 is going to be The Evil Dead from 1981. I know. How could I do such a thing to put what many of you think is a masterpiece at number 5? I'm not saying I don't like the movie. I'm just saying, to me, at least at the moment, it's the one I like the least. It's very dated to me. Obviously, Sam Raimi was definitely not a name at that point. He started to with that, but he definitely wasn't a name. I like some of the effects, the practical effects in the movie, and of course, it's gory. It's probably, out of at least the first 3, the most horror-based one, and I'll give it credit for that. You have the very controversial scene with Ash's sister, Cheryl, who gets taken advantage of by the tree. That's crazy, and eventually she gets put, in the cellar, basement, whatever you want to call it. And I don't really like any of the characters in this movie. I think that's what boils down. The characters, to me, are very uninteresting, and that includes Ash. Ash doesn't become what he is until Evil Dead 2, and that's why, at least at the moment, I have to put that one in fifth place. I'm sorry. I know. I didn't want to, but it's the one I want to rewatch the least. At least, like I said, at the moment. I suspect at some point my opinion will change, but Evil Dead 1981 in fifth place. I hope you've recovered over the tantrum you just threw over me having The Evil Dead from 1981 as my number 5. So you should know that coming in fourth place for me is going to be Army of Darkness. Now, I'll be honest with you. I thought for sure that Army of Darkness would be my number 5. I had to watch it, I believe, on a Sunday night to start, and I got about halfway through it and had to turn it off because I had other things that I had to do before finishing watching that movie, and the fact that I was kind of bored of it. So, a couple days later, I went back to it and started over just to, I'll just start over to, be more bored. And I actually got into it a little bit. The movie made sense to me. It's Ash at his comical side, and all the tropes that they use in the movie make me laugh. The going back to 1300 AD is a little different, but it works. Like, the story actually works. Him getting put in the when he has to defeat the two monsters and then they think he's the chosen one, that's awesome. And then him getting finding the Necronomicon, wanting to get back to the time that he was from, and then not saying the phrase right, and then him having to defeat the monsters, him getting his new armor from there, that time period. I thought that was all cool. And it's a little cheesy. I will admit, Army of Darkness is very cheesy, but it just works for me. I enjoyed it. Surprisingly, I did. It's a movie that I would, at least at the moment, want to rewatch before I watch The Evil Dead 1981. I know you don't have to cancel me again. Once you cancel me, you don't have to keep canceling me. But I don't know. I liked it more. I don't know if that's going to be my opinion for the rest of my life, but at least at the moment, Army of Darkness is my number 4. I was a little shocked that he actually went back to present time. I thought for sure that he'd actually stay in 1300 AD. It just seemed like something that he would do, but nonetheless, he came back, and that's why. That's my number 4. What a groovy ranking video thus far, and the Evil Dead movie that comes in third place for me, at least at the moment, is going to be Evil Dead Rise. Now, upon a rewatch, this movie certainly has a possibility to move up my ranking. As of this recording, I have only had the opportunity to see it one time, and I don't think I'm going to see it again until I'm able to purchase the movie. So as of this recording, it's in third place with the high possibility of moving up the ranking once I'm able to see it again. And before I talk about this movie, spoiler alert, this is the movie that I'm going to be talking about the most, so if you haven't seen it yet, I highly suggest that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any of those potential spoilers. You've been warned. I know a lot of you that have seen this movie that really love the movie, and I really like it. In fact, it's probably the 5th best movie that I've seen so far in 2023 out of the 16 movies that I've seen. In fact, this movie does a lot of things very well. You have a new setting. You go from the cabin. Well, they're kind of at the cabin for scenes of the movie to a new setting of this high-rise apartment complex. That adds new elements of tension. You have characters, not all of them, but a lot of characters in this movie I like a lot better than the 2013 Fede Alvarez Evil Dead movie. I didn't like really any of the characters until the very end of that movie. And in this one, there's 3 to 4 that I like. They're good. So that has that going for it. You have, of course, the things that we're used to, the carnage candy, the gore, the tension moments, especially the part where she's listening to the record, and then possessed Ellie comes and she's standing right behind her, and then you finally see her in the reflection. That added a lot of tension. In fact, there was a couple people in my theater that actually didn't scream it, but actually said, I can't watch it anymore. This thing is too scary, and left. Movies have no effect on me like that anymore. Not since I was young, 9 years old, have I ever had a movie that got me scared like that. So people, obviously we're scared of this movie, and for good reason. It does a lot of things very well. You have all the blood. That's done very well. All the great characters that I, for the most part, like. They're done well. You actually get the stakes raised, in my opinion, with having the mom be the one that's possessed by the new demon, by the thing that's in, or that the Necronomicon summons, so to speak. So you have that going for you, which she's going after her children, which adds even more tension to what you're already seeing. Now, there's one thing that annoys me that you didn't get a lot with Mr. Fonda, the neighbor. I thought he was going to be a more important character, but no, he's just there to die. So whatever the case may be, but you get a lot of the stuff that we're used to in a Evil Dead movie. You, of course, get the chainsaw. Awesome. Good callback to every Evil Dead movie. So that's good. You get the cool scene where Lily, I'm sorry, that's the actress's name. Beth is able to put the three-headed family monster into the wood chipper that Cassie is able to activate. That was awesome, with all the blood coming out and all that for that, and you get some limbs chopped off and that. So all that stuff, very good. It's an awesome Evil Dead movie. Now, the issues that I have with the movie. Oh, one other thing I love. So you have the opening of the movie that actually takes place at the cabin, but that's actually in the future. And you get the one chick that rips the one chick's scalp off. That was awesome. And then you get her rising from the lake, and then the Evil Dead Rises title card. That's fucking amazing. So all that stuff I really liked. The things that make this movie at the moment in third place for me. So about 5 minutes into meeting our family of characters, I knew that Beth and Cassie were going to be the two that make it out of this movie alive. I don't know if I was supposed to know that, but I knew that they were going to be the ones that were alive. Now, if you remember in the last Evil Dead movie, Jane Levy's character is the one that's possessed, and then she gets unpossessed and makes it out of the movie alive, although she's missing limbs. And I'll get to that in a second. Where in this movie you have all the kids' mom, played by Alyssa Sutherland, who did an awesome job. Ellie's character, she's possessed, and she's possessed from when she gets possessed until she dies. So if they didn't do that route in this movie, I thought there was a chance that they would somehow cure her of that, but she ended up dying. But I knew for sure, in fact, I was 99% sure that the mom was going to die and that Beth and Cassie were going to be the ones that made it out. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Now, my other gripe, okay, it's a small gripe. We didn't get any Ash in this movie. Now, we didn't get any of Ash in the last movie, although if you watch all the way through the credits, you do have a groovy at the end of the credits in Evil Dead 2013 by Fede Alvarez. No Ash. It's upsetting, but hey, I can live with that. The main character of Beth, I didn't really like her all that much as a character. But for a final girl in an Evil Dead movie where you have Jane Levy's character in the last movie, and of course you have Ash, Bruce Campbell's character in Evil Dead 2, shit fucking happens to those characters. They get fucked up. And Beth, who is pregnant, doesn't lose any limbs, doesn't cut her hand off, doesn't lose a foot. Nothing happens to her. And I feel like there should have been more things that happened to Beth. Now, I didn't think that anything should happen to Cassie, because Cassie's a little girl, and she's going to be great down the road. I look for big things from that actress. But the character of Beth, I thought should have had some more shit happen to her, and nothing did happen to her. So that's kind of upsetting, and that's what holds this movie back for me, at least at the moment. While it's, and I did like the fact that they introduced another Necronomicon, because remember in Evil Dead or Army of Darkness, they said there were 3 Necronomicons, and we finally got to see this other one that was in this bank vault, or this vault, or whatever it was. So that was pretty cool. So that's why, at least at the moment, Evil Dead Rise is my number 3. Coming in second place for me is going to be Evil Dead 2. First of all, you remember Ash from The Evil Dead from 1981. Then we get Ash in Evil Dead 2, who is 1,000,000 times better. Now, there are some times in this movie where they are like the Three Stooges, like Ash is acting like the Three Stooges all by himself, and that turns a lot of people off. It's annoying, but it's fun. It adds a little humor into the movie where they combine horror and humor in this particular movie, and then you just make Ash a certifiable badass. He chops his own hand off. Who's laughing now? Puts a chainsaw on his hand, has his boomstick, and is a badass. Now, we get introduced to some new characters in this movie pretty late in the movie, and a lot of people don't like those characters. I kind of enjoyed them a little bit. I liked the country guy and his girlfriend, and then the professor and the one chick, and she's going there to see her father. I think they were okay. We got Ash, and that's what we needed in this movie. We really needed Ash, and he did a phenomenal job. Why I like this movie so much, but I'm not really going into much details. I just think it's a lot better, and it was more entertaining. Again, Evil Dead Rise could certainly move up this ranking once I rewatch it, but at least at the moment, maybe my opinion will change on it once I rewatch it and once I know more about the Evil Dead franchise as a whole and do more research. But as it stands, Evil Dead 2 is my number 2. Before I give you my number 1, I just want to say this is by far the toughest ranking video I've ever done, simply because it's pretty obvious I'm not an Evil Dead fanatic. I just recently watched all these movies. I don't know all the history behind the Evil Dead. I don't know all the terms in the Evil Dead. And some of the movies kind of gel together to me. So it's like, wait a minute. Did this happen in one movie, or am I talking about two different movies here? So I'll let you in on a secret. So I've been recording for about 3 hours right now, and I've got about 17 minutes of footage, not including giving you my number 1 and this particular scene right here. So I just want to let you know, next time there's an Evil Dead movie, I'll be well prepared and know a lot more about the Evil Dead franchise, and probably have watched the TV show by then, or the TV series by then. And it will be a whole hell of a lot better than this one. But people wanted to hear my ranking of the Evil Dead franchise. So I do my best, but sometimes my best, well, this isn't my best simply because I didn't give myself enough time. I should have been preparing for this a year ago, but I didn't. So just to let you know, I had a tough time with this one. But if I do it again, which I'm pretty sure I will, it will be certainly a lot better. While it should come to no surprise at this point, my favorite movie in the Evil Dead franchise is going to be Evil Dead 2013, directed by Fede Alvarez. I believe, and I might not be 100% accurate on this, but I do believe that I saw this movie for the first time about 6 months ago. The only movie previously in this franchise that I'd seen before that is The Evil Dead from 1981. And I thought Evil Dead 2013 was absolutely incredible. It's freaking awesome. First of all, it's just not a movie with kids going to a cabin in the woods. It's a group of friends going to a cabin because the main character, played by Jane Levy, is a drug addict that's going there to get clean because she recently just died until she was revived. So she needs to turn her life around and get sober. And this cabin that was owned by her parents is the way to start that process. Now, some dumbass reads the Necronomicon, and Jane Levy's character gets possessed by the demon. So you're thinking, okay, she's probably a goner. Although Ash has been possessed before and lived. Turns out she eventually gets released of the demon, and because I thought that we would have a final guy in this movie, the character of David. But David eventually dies, and Jane Levy survives and has a brutal battle with the dead at the end of the movie. But the movie's just incredible. I thought the premise was really good. All the carnage candy, all the gore, all the callbacks to previous Evil Dead movies, including the end credits scene. Groovy. all awesome. I mean, this movie is batshit crazy. Now, the promotion for this movie said the scariest movie you'll ever see, or something to that degree. I'm not even going to go anywhere near that. It's not the scariest movie I've ever seen, but movies don't even scare me. So I really can't speculate on what's a movie that scares me. There are some jump scares that, make me go, whoa, but there's no movie that ever scares me. But this movie was fucking incredible, and I absolutely loved it. And the brutality in the final act with Jane Levy's character fighting the demon around the car, and she actually gets her hand cut off because her arm is stuck, so she pulls it out and her hand gets cut off in the process, and then she puts the chainsaw on her arm to be just like Ash, and it's fucking awesome. I really like this movie. I didn't think I would really like it all that much. Again, I'm just a casual Evil Dead fan, but I really did like this movie. And as it stands right now, Evil Dead 2013, directed by Fede Alvarez, is my number one. So there you have it, my ranking of the Evil Dead franchise. And next time I definitely will have watched the Ash vs. the Evil Dead television series, so I can include that in the ranking. And I know, again, this wasn't necessarily my best ranking video. Next time, I will know more about the Evil Dead in general, the Necronomicon, and be able to talk a lot more freely about anything from any Evil Dead movie. So you've heard me talk a lot now. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of the Evil Dead and like ranking videos or franchise ranking videos and like the stuff that you see on JDev TV, even this video, hey, give me credit. I at least put the video out and want to at least try to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you Hulk smash that like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms if you deem it something that you would want to share. Make sure you sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on the Evil Dead franchise. What would be your ranking? Tell me how crazy I am to have a ranking that I have. Click on this video right here for videos in my franchise rankings that I've done. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.